We're live.
Hi.
Can you see me?
No, they can't, well, they shouldn't be. Across the room it's hard to see because the desk. Let me see. Can somebody see Bryson over there sleeping? No, you're actually covered by the
Okay.
No, you literally are covered by the podium a little bit before a little bit. But anyway, so here we go. Bryson, I'm actually excited for you, man. I want you to do good. So, all right, we're going to be in Romans again. But I want you to go to Romans chapter 7. We're going to talk about the plight of man. This is important. The plight. She can't help you, man. Not this young.
No, she said I should have studied. I'm saying I did study.
She did. Okay.
So what was that?
Okay, so Romans, the plight of mankind, okay, human beings. And what it means by this is, okay, we have a problem. Human beings are sinners, okay? And because of sin, our nature has been corrupted. This is not what God wanted for us, but we rebelled. And as a result, we deal with a condition. We have a propensity or a desire. We always say self, but listen to what I'm saying. A desire to sin, okay? We want what we want, and we want to do what we want to do, and submission to authority is difficult, okay? Because whenever we come to God, God says you can't be that way. We're like, well, no, we want to do what we want to do. God says that's not how it works. And people say, well, why does God have a say so? Because God is our creator. Now, God, I want you to think about it. For everybody that criticizes God and says, why does God tell us what we can and cannot do? I want you to think about it. If you create, and if you do something, are you done? I don't know. Then you need to be awake, okay? Yes, I don't know. Remember, put right Jesus on the blank, okay? You need to, okay? Do your best.
You see this?
Whenever you're done, just hand it to me, okay? Just as best you can. That's all anybody can ask for you. Don't worry about the rest of it, okay? All right. So, human beings sometimes look at God and say, God, why do you tell me what to do? Well, think about this. When you bring a child into the world, what do? It's not that you're wanting to boss the child. It's that you have to make decisions because that child does not know what's going on.
No, he doesn't.
I love you.
I don't know. You see that?
Thank you for bringing down the earphones. All right. So, you have a child, you're trying to guide that child because the child does not understand the things that you do. And God is the same with him. God knows that we don't understand, nor will we ever understand things. But God tells us to avoid things because, folks, listen to me, there's somebody who wants us destroyed. I'm not joking. This is not just a theory. This is the fact. Huh? Yes, absolutely. I would like to go on record and say if somebody sees this, that came from the class. It did not come from me. Although I agree with the classmate 100%. Okay?
Hey,
But seriously.
remember that one joke I told you? You said who, do you remember that one time I said joke with the president? What was it?
Remember that one time I said that? You remember that one time?
All right. So follow me, folks. Got to get some information to you. So, we guide our children, and we know that there are those things that are dangerous. And in particular, we're talking about Satan. This is not a joke. This is not pretend. It isn't just a theory. Satan is absolutely, diametrically, 100% opposed to you. You were created in the image of God. His one desire is to do whatever he can to come against Christ, to come against the church, to come against anything that God's doing. And the fact is that God loves you. And because of that, God allows him to exist for actually our strengthening. People think, well, Satan's in the world to tear us down. No. God allows him to exist to where we can overcome by his grace and to learn to be that creature that God intended for us to be from the beginning. Okay? So he allows him to exist in that state, but eventually he will be judged. But understand this, he is trying to destroy you. And because of that, God says don't engage in certain activities. Now, the number one thing that God talks about in the commandments is this, is just, I'm God. Okay? It's kind of like this. Imagine your kid looking at you and saying, why do I have to listen to you?
Whoa.
Well, I'm your parent. So,
That ain't
I'm sorry, you're missing the point. I'm your parent. You wouldn't be here without me. Well, I didn't ask to come here. You ungrateful little snot-nosed brat. Okay? Is what you want to look at. I give you, you don't want to live? Okay, let's go ahead and take that away. I'll cancel your birthday. I don't mind. Okay?
He said,
But what I'm saying is these are dumb statements. You've been given life, and the fact is your parents look at you and say, I'm telling you this stuff not because I'm trying to be cruel or hateful. I'm telling you this that somebody out there is trying to pick your pocket. Somebody's trying to rob you. Somebody's trying to steal from you. Somebody's trying to kill you. And God says, look, I'm God. Honor me as God. That's all I'm saying. Listen to me. I got you back. I'm actually loving and caring for you. And how about this? Let's say you and your husband are together, okay? And you have this baby. And then one day, in order to save your child's life, you give your life to your child. You actually jump in front of the bus to save your child. Because you told the kid, don't go play in the street, don't go run out there. And the kid just runs right into the street, says, I don't care, I'm going to go to little Johnny's house. And you see the bus coming, you run out there and you jump in the bus, and now you're dead. And then the son looks at the other parent and says, well, I have this to you. What have you done for me? You know, that's when you look at him and you're saying, God gave us these examples so we would understand He's good. He sent His Son to die for us. He cares about us. He's not just a dictator. He actually cares about us. But here's the problem. We still got to deal with sin. Sin still wants to pull us away. We still want to be our own masters. Our flesh has desires. Now, I want you to understand the desires that you have, not all of them are necessarily bad. And I'm going to be very careful how I address this, okay? Once again, this is going to verge on some of those things you need to talk to your mommy and your daddy, and you need to talk to your pastor about, okay? So I'm going to do very, very surface level stuff.
You're our pastor.
Okay, well then you can talk to me about it, but probably not in this environment, okay?
oh.
So, but think about this. As you grow up, you're going to have desires, you're going to have attractions, and all those kind of things. Being attracted to the opposite sex is not a sin. Listen to me, it's not a sin. It's the way God made you. Okay? He made you. You're supposed to be. And there are feelings that you are going to have, and those feelings will develop over time and become stronger. But none of those are sin. Okay? So, even though that's true, giving into those desires outside of certain parameters, such as marriage, they do have a problem. Because God says you're better than that. God says that who you are as an individual is not something that is just free for anyone. He says that who you are as an individual is to be shared with somebody that is making the same commitment to you. Forevermore, I am yours. Forevermore, you are mine. Till death we do part. And then God says, I bless you. You're together. What God joins together. Let no one ever separate. And that's wonderful and that's good. Okay? But part of that, think about it, we have natural desires. The temptation is to go beyond a desire or a feeling that may naturally occur. Sometimes we battle the flesh. Okay? Now let me give you an example, okay? I know I'm the specimen of manhood. I know that I'm skinny. I know that I've got, I don't know if that's a six-pack, it may be a keg. But anyway, just listen to me for just a minute. I'm just joking. Okay, obviously I have been known to eat a little more, rarely, but I've been known to eat a little more than I should. Did you know that's a sin? It is a sin. Is it a sin to desire to eat? No. It's normal. But guess what? When I'm sitting down and I look at that piece of meat and I'm full, but it tastes so good and I ain't going I'm supposed to, then it becomes an issue because I'm actually hurting myself. But listen, the desire wasn't bad. It's that I abused it. You see what I'm saying? And that wasn't Satan. Satan didn't want me to, ooh, steak. He didn't do that, okay? That was my flesh. Do you see what I'm saying? A natural desire within me that was out of control, okay? Then there is a spiritual sin, which is where Satan may come along. And I use Satan generically. By the way, we need to cover some theology. You understand that Satan is an individual, right? He is an individual spiritual reality. He is not omnipresent. He is not everywhere. He can only be in one place at one time. He is not God. Remember, God is outside of space, time, that kind of thing. God can be everywhere, or let's rephrase this. Everything is present before God at all times. He sees all, knows all from eternity to eternity. Nothing scares him, nothing catches him by surprise. He knows. Okay? Which is kind of weird when you think about the rebellion of Satan. How do you, am I going to sneak up on God? God's not going to know I'm planning this rebellion. God knew it from the beginning. But God gave him an opportunity not to. You see what I'm saying? That's the reason why I said, well, why do you let that? Give him an opportunity not to. And you can't judge somebody unless you give them an opportunity. Okay. So then we have a spiritual temptation where Satan will come to us, he will speak to our hearts, or in some way he will entice us. And a lot of times he uses the flesh, but he takes it too far. Or let's say he gives us an ambition which is not good. Okay? To control or to abuse another person, to use another individual. Or let's say we are out there and we've got a business and we look at it and say, man, I'd really like to have this yacht, or I'd like to have this, my business is going good. Well, what I'll do is I'll take everybody's retirement fund and I'll put it back later, but I'm going to take it right now, embezzling, and I'm going to take this and I'm going to buy that yacht and I'll just put it back later. And we don't put it back, and guess what? People who have worked all their lives don't have retirement. Okay? That's sin, but that was a spiritual temptation. Flesh was involved as well, but that was a spiritual thing. Or to rebel against God, or to be involved in, we always look at witchcraft or black magic or stuff like that, or the occult in general. We'd say, yes, that's wicked, but it goes beyond that kind of stuff. So we have these things like the flesh, spiritual realities that attack us, but either way, there is this outward compulsion, sometimes inward, okay? But there is the enemy as well as our flesh that is compelling us to do things we're not supposed to do. Now you say, Shane, where are we going with this? Okay, God comes along and he gives us something called the law, right? He gives us the law. He said, this is who we are, this is how we live. Now, there were 300, more than that, but anyway, tons of laws that God gave to his people for how they're supposed to live and interact with each other and how to be just. And if accidents happen or people were hurt or somebody accidentally killed somebody's livestock or something like that, don't hurt. You're fine. Thank you, sir. I appreciate it. All right. So, here he comes. You good, man? Trouble? All right. So the enemy, we talk about the 10 Commandments, okay? But that's basically the overarching commandments of God. God had other commandments, but they will fall under that. And all of them fall under 2 commandments, right? To love the Lord your God with all your heart, soul, mind, and might. That is with all your being. And to love your neighbor as much as you love and care about yourself. So as much as you would take care of you, think about your neighbor in the same way and love and care for him in the same way. So those are the 2 main commandments under that, the 10 commandments, and then all the other ones kind of fell up under that. But we got a problem. So we want to live for self, right? We have this inner drive to live for self. And let's say we don't know God. There's no rule. We don't know what the rules are. You go to somebody, and I'll tell you, even today in the church, now I'm not going to do it to you. But what if I were to look at you right now and say, everybody, I want you to pull out a sheet of paper, don't look on anybody's paper, and I want you to write out 10 commandments. Some of you would look at me and go, now you know them. If I were to say, how about this one? You say, oh yeah, I know that. I know that. You've heard them many times, but a lot of times they're not floating around in our minds. Okay? So, these rules that God gave us are trying to keep us where God needs for us to be. They reveal God's nature to us, right? And how we're supposed to live with other people. All right. So, let me ask you. And then y'all do this as an exercise one day. I love you. Okay, so. Okay. I'm working for folks. So tomorrow, I want you to get up in the morning and I want you to do this. I want you to pray and I want you to say, Lord, today I will not sin against you. Today I am not going to sin. I'm not going to do anything. And you're Christians. You have the power of the Holy Spirit. But I want you to see how difficult it is. Today I'm not going to get angry with somebody needlessly. Today I'm going to show mercy. I'm going to show kindness. I'm going to help. I'm going to do the best I can to live like Jesus, and I will not in any way neglect you. I will not have sins of commission or sins of omission. That's not doing something I should do. Okay? And I want you to set your heart to do this, and I want you to, throughout the day, put a little tick mark every time you blow it. Sometimes somebody upsets you. You would be surprised on a daily basis how many times our flesh attacks us and we don't do what we're supposed to do. That's true. Okay? Now imagine you're not a Christian. Imagine that you do not know the Lord. And you're sitting there going, well, how would I live my life? Well, today, I didn't wake up in the morning and say, I'm going to live for you, Lord.